Listen.
I've been hearing a lot lately about men don't talk, but in my experience, men do talk, just people aren't listening. So it's going to be me and a group of blokes discussing our struggles and victories through life. Warning, there may be some bad language, so apologies to all the mums, especially my own. Let's get going.
Listen.
I've been it's the Black Country Blokes, chewing the fat about everything it is: mental health, disability, addiction, and so much more. Here with me, Kev Dillon, and my partner in crime, as always, Lee Cadman. And today we're joined by Kev from Gordon Moody, Gordon Moody Gambling Addiction. So thank you, Kev, for coming on.
Thanks for having us, guys.
So before we go into Kev's story, we're going to do as we always do our gratitude list. Now, I'm grateful that we've had the sun out. Something as soft as that, but we had a lovely day. Me and the family, then we had a barbecue and just being with each other in the sun and a bit of sun to your skin. You feel so much better. So I'm grateful for something as soft as the weather. What are you grateful for, bro?
Similar thread. You know what? I sat out in the garden on a couple of times on the weekend and just sat there, just not really doing, just enjoying it. You know, I actually had a couple of non-alcoholic beers as well.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was getting cravings for beer, and I thought, don't do it, Lee. Just have a non-alcoholic. And
so first one you've had?
First non-alcoholic ones, yeah.
Any good?
You know what? I had a Guinness, non-alcoholic, and you know it doesn't taste like draft Guinness, but the cans never do. But it tastes very much like a can of Guinness. Well, from my memory of over 3 years ago, it tastes like one. So yeah.
Did it scratch the itch?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's stressful times, moving out and all that, and I don't know. We'll see over the coming weeks.
You'll be a raging alcoholic.
Well, I did realise how many non-alcoholic drinks I can drink in one night. It's quite a lot. So it's probably good I didn't buy ones with alcohol in.
And Kev, what are you grateful for, bro?
Grateful to be here. You know what I mean? Because we're a smallish organisation, and just to maybe make a bit of connections with other people in the area. As I say, we've been here for 25 years, and I was just saying, a lot of people don't know who we are. So grateful for the opportunity to come here. And as I let you know, I'm thankful for every day I've got. You know what I mean? Because I tell you my stories. There's times that the chances are that I probably wouldn't see things. You know what I mean? So just grateful to wake up in the morning, mate. And obviously the weather helps. You know what I mean? I think I was up here for about 3 weeks and it didn't stop raining.
Should be used to that up in Scotland now.
So the webbed feet came in handy. You know? I felt like home. But yeah, that's I always do a gratitude list, mate. So I'm grateful for being here. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
But it's like your gratitude list. I've started doing one every day, and I do it consciously. I always try and do, but someone told me to stop writing it down.
Yeah.
My good friend Emily Barney. So I just jot it down, and every day, number one, woke up.
Yeah.
That's my first one every day.
Absolutely.
And then it's whatever. I've brought my daughter to school. I've done this. I've done that, and all the silly things. And you go, oh yeah, and that was nice. And just jotting it down does make a difference. And sometimes you'll have something, and someone says something, or something happens, and you go, stop. That was a slight incident of an otherwise great day, but don't let that plonker ruin your day.
I try and do something in the moment, know what I mean? Because you're always grateful for your family, your kids, know what I mean? But see just something, as you say, something that maybe happened that day, know what I mean? Maybe you seen something funny, or maybe somebody kind of stopped a car for it. Just wee things, know what I mean? Just because, as I say, it's easy to get monotonous, know what I mean, with the same things, know what I mean? So I try and always do something. What happened that day? What was I grateful for that day? Know what I mean? Just say it might be something slightly different.
And where did you learn that? Is that something you picked up?
Is that sorry?
When did you start doing your gratitude list?
When I went to rehab, so that would have been 5 years ago in July. You know what I mean? It's something that we promote. You know what I mean? Because I think as an addiction, it's hard to be grateful for things. You know what I mean? And then when you take a step back, there's a lot of things to be grateful. You know what I mean? For that you probably don't realise. You've probably lost sight of that. So just getting you back into that negative thinking into a positive thinking, and it just starts with gratitude. You know what I mean? As I say, just one wee thing. It might just be one thing that you're grateful for that day, and it might be just waking up, because guys might get to the point that's all they've got. You know what I mean? And that might be the only thing that they've got in their life that they're thankful for, is actually opening their eyes.
We spoke last week. Was it Isaac on?
Yeah,
So last week we had Isaac on, who was in Israel at the time, and he suffered with chronic pain.
Yeah.
And he used to wake up every morning with that negative thought in his head, like, oh, it's going to be a rubbish day because I'm suffering with chronic pain. And most people kind of understand that. He says, but his real change come where he changed that in the morning, and he was still suffering with pain.
Yeah.
But he went, you know what, I might be suffering with pain, but look, I'm able to do this today. Or this is happening today, and just that small change in his mindset, as a consistent, changes his mindset completely. And it's not that he doesn't have bad days; he just doesn't focus on the bad in that day.
The pain's still there, but he's focusing on something.
That's it, and that means he can get up and get out and do things that potentially were not letting him do that by having those negative thoughts.
We work a lot on mindset, as you're saying. I mean, life doesn't get any easier, but if you look at it in a kind of more positive outlook, the chances are you're going to get more out of it. The pain's still there, but you're not letting that dictate your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. With gambling, is it really? You no doubt yourself, you still get those urges to do that.
Yeah.
But you know it's a bad route, and you've changed your mindset to going, well, actually, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I can be more positive and do more things if I don't do it.
We work a lot on coping mechanisms, you know what I mean, and how you actually deal with, because you're going to. The chances are, if you're doing it for any period of time, and the guys that we get have been doing it for a long time, so it's not just going to go away. You know what I mean? You just get on, even you'll get unconscious because you can't control what comes into your mind. You know what I mean? But it's just you've got the coping mechanisms to deal with whatever situation that you get yourself into, and that's what you rely on for a period of time. You know what I mean? Then it gets well, for me, it got easier. You know what I mean? I was never complacent.
What do you think it is that you actually get addicted to? Because I think of things like alcohol, cigarettes, they have addictive chemicals in them as such, and they same with drugs.
For me, it was pure escapism. You know what I mean? I'm going into kind of the deep stuff here, but the reason I found out, the reason that I was lazy. You know what I mean? I was born idle growing up as a kid, and I got everything done for me. We were brought up on the west coast of Scotland, and we weren't, money-wise, we weren't well off, but we were well loved. You know what I mean? We were spoiled that way. I was overspoiled. You know what I mean? I got to the point where my sister used to tie my school tie and with a knot in it still, and put it over my bed, so I just have to slip it over my head in the morning.
Sounds like my son.
Didn't do any dishes or any chores or a hoovering, and it just turned into somebody always done things for me. You know what I mean? But when I started gambling, the scrapes I got into very quickly, somebody always bailed me out. You know what I mean? So that gets to the point where it kind of turns into contempt a wee bit. You know what I mean? And there wasn't any consequences to my actions. So I was just like, well, crack on. You know what I mean? Because somebody will clean a mess up for me. And that went on for years and years and years. You know what I mean? The scrapes get bigger. You know what I mean? The situations I got myself into were more. Some of them were dangerous, but they were a wee bit more to it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a case of basic things. You know what I mean? It was people knocking on the door. It was potential court cases. You know what I mean? It was things like that. You know what I mean? But somebody always bailed me out, and it was done out of love. You know what I mean? It wasn't. And that's a lot of things that I think families more so are probably, they feel guilty of, because they probably enable a lot of addicts, you know what I mean? But it's just purely out of love, you know what I mean? They think of, my family thought if they gave me money, then it would help me bail me out of situations, but it was just feeding into my addiction, you know what I mean? But what they're going to say, no, you know what I mean? They're going to, some of the stories I told them to get the money, rolled down, never looked in, you know what I mean? They just...
And that's a common thing. We talk to Matt, we talk to other addicts from booze, drugs, everything. Everyone's got a tale to tell, haven't they? And it can be from anything. I've been kidnapped. I broke my back. You need to. It's urgent, and because you love people, you want to see that in them.
Yeah, of course.
And heaven forbid this time they're telling the truth.
Yeah. because being a compulsive gambler, you automatically by default become a compulsive liar as well. You know what I mean? It goes hand in hand. I've not met one compulsive gambler who's not a compulsive liar, because you'll say and do anything to get money, and it's probably similar to the other addictions. And as I was speaking to you guys earlier, I could have easily been an alcoholic or a drug addict, because it's all the way we work. It's all about the behaviours. You know what I mean? The final act of addiction is actually performing in that addiction, but it's all about the behaviours underneath it, and that's what we work at in Gordon Moody, because they're very similar traits. You know what I mean? Very, very similar. If you break it down and take the actual physical act of what kind of addiction you've got, all the behaviours are very similar. Lying, cheating, manipulation, rationalisation. You know what I mean? The lying's massive as well.
And the guilt and shame to go along with those actions. And more guilty and more shameful you get, then you get deeper into it to avoid the problems itself.
That's what kills people, the guilt and the shame. You know what I mean? Because they just don't know how to deal with it. You know what I mean? They feel that guilty, they feel they've not got in. Men especially don't know where to go, they don't know how to talk. You know what I mean? And ultimately, we don't know where to go. You know what I mean? And it just becomes too much of it for us.
And afraid to ask for help.
And unfortunately, I count myself as one of the lucky people who put their hand up and say I need help. But some people, and I don't. It's not through bravery. It's just that they've had too much. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, they take the one option that I'm glad I never took, and that's ultimately came up killing myself.
And what was the catalyst for you to admit you had a problem and get help?
You see, that's the thing. I knew myself I had a problem for 25 years. I knew myself it was accepting it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I knew internally, but if I told anybody, then I've got to act on that. Because if they offer me help, then all of a sudden I've got to be accountable to that. And it didn't happen until I was 43 when I put my hand up and needed help. But I knew for a long time. So myself, maybe 20 odd years, I knew it was causing. At the start, you think it's just your own money. You know what I mean? It's not causing you too much. But when you go through it, I mean, as I said, every aspect of my life was dictated by my addiction. You know what I mean? But I knew myself had a problem a long time ago. Accepting I had a problem, that's different.
And what was your voice? Was it the horses? Was it the casino?
It was the shops for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on the machines.
Just bookies. Well, I was gambling before the machines came in. You know what I mean? So it was just fruit machines. Dogs, horses, football.
Anything you could bet on.
It got to the point where it was two flies up a wall, Kev. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just take it any 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning betting on third division Chinese under-18s women's basketball and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's, you might think that's bonkers, but see any compulsive gamblers maybe listen to this, but done it. You know what I mean? Done it. It's just anything to get a bet. Anything. You know what I mean?
Because when we had Matt on from Bet No More UK, he was a football pundit, but he said mine wasn't on football as such, it was on the races.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny, like with any addiction, so you both said, as you say, two sides of a war.
Yeah.
But some people, like we had an alcoholic, ex-alcoholic, some people set themselves boundaries, like I'm going to get paralytic today, but only after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or I drink, but I don't drink spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will justify it yourself.
100%. That's one of the. And you'll do anything to make it okay in your head. You know what I mean? And that's what we deal with is the behaviours, and that's why the behaviours is massive. You know what I mean? Because I'll do anything to make it right in my head, so that it's okay for me to do that. You know what I mean? And that's a range of behaviours. But again, a similar addiction. You spoke about an alcoholic there. You know what I mean? And it's the very same behaviours as any other addiction. Just the poison's different.
Yeah, you'll justify it by any means.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bizarre it probably sounds to us now.
Yeah.
Back then, well, no, I'm justified doing
My dad
that.
will
It is-
probably listen to this. You
yeah.
have a laugh. Some of the stories I told him to get money, unbelievable. I'm telling you, you couldn't. It got to, and that's why they call it a kind of fantasy world, a compulsive gambler. I've got to believe my shit. You know what I mean? Because if I don't believe it, what chance have I got to tell another? You know what I mean? Convincing other people. And I was living in a fantasy land for years. You know what I mean? It was crazy. You know what I mean? Only now when I look back on it that you were talking about mental health. It goes hand in hand. I'm telling you, I was gone. You know what I mean, living in a total fantasy world. You know what I mean, thinking that I could turn £2 into 10 million. You know what I mean? I couldn't pick one winner, never mind 20 winners. You know what I mean? It's impossible. But as I say, it's once you're in it, you don't realise you're in it. You know what I mean? It's only till you get you can. Luckily, that I can see it from the outside now that my mental health was terrible. You know what I mean? It was awful. But that's just that total fantasy that money was going to. I thought it was a financial illness. It's not. It's an emotional illness.
So during the height of it, you're still functioning as normal in terms of going to a job, doing.
I couldn't hold down a job. I couldn't hold down a relationship. Either that be a personal relationship or in a romantic relationship. Couldn't do it. My biggest issue was accountability and responsibility. You know what I mean? I wasn't accountable. Couldn't hold myself accountable, but be responsible. I went to Gordon Moody at 43, probably the most immature 43-year-old you've ever met. All the kind of the life skills that you build up as maybe a teenager going to university, 20s, maybe getting your first job, getting a car, meeting somebody, then late 20s, maybe buying a house, then having a family, settle down, get a mortgage. Gambling consumed my life. So see all the life skills that you build up, I didn't have them. You know what I mean? I couldn't look after myself. I couldn't hold down a job. I couldn't pay my bills. Couldn't feed myself. Got to the point where I wasn't even looking after myself physically. You know what I mean? Cleanliness wise, everything was just consumed by gambling. You know what I mean? So the question to answer is there is people who I know people who can function with it, but they're probably living a double life. My family knew that I was gambling, but probably it wasn't a lot, you know what I mean? But it was everything. So a lot of everything means if you're making 10 grand a week and spending 10 grand, or you're making 200 quid a week and spending 200 quid, you're still spending everything.
Yeah.
It's just your lifestyle's probably a wee bit different if you've got 10 grand and you've got 200 quid, you know what I mean? So I spent everything, which made it was a massive effect in my life, you know what I mean? But my family always knew I gambled, you know what I mean? And I don't think, and this is not me making excuses, I take accountability and responsibility for everything, but I don't think they understood how bad it was for me. You know what I mean? And that's not me looking for self-pity or anything like that at all, you know what I mean?
I think that's in general in society. Like we spoke earlier, you see a drug addict or an alcoholic and you can physically see the damage it's doing, whereas gambling can be, or that addiction can be hidden a lot easier.
And the general consensus of gamblers are just greedy. You know what I mean? They just want to win money. It's far from the case. You know what I mean? It's not a financial illness. It is an emotional.
Yeah, because even if you'd have won $1 million, you'd have still gambled.
See,
you'd have had enough money to.
It got to the point where I got a bit of inheritance, and I know I kind of don't like, because I'll kind of go into it, but it was the money that I'd been chasing. The money that I got through that was the money I always dreamt of. You know what I mean? If I could get around about that amount of money, I'd be upset. It was gone very, very, very quickly, and that's when I realised it's not a financial illness. You know what I mean? Because if it was, then I wouldn't be sitting here. You know what I mean? I'd be financially secure. Yeah. Or it wasn't life-changing money, but it was money to me. Is from where we came from. It was a decent amount of money. You know what I mean? It got me a nice deposit on a flat, and it set me up. You know what I mean? But when that went, that's when I realised, I'm in trouble here.
How does that make you feel now, knowing that you kind of had not set for life at that? Like, I think I've gambled a handful of times
Yeah.
since I've turned 18, and it's, you know, it's never really interested me enough, but it gutted me even losing a fiver.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine sitting there now and going, well, actually I had this money and now, and I don't know.
I never ever had any value for money anyway, but I never had it because, again, there wasn't any consequences to my actions growing up. See, as I say, every scrape that I went through, my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister, my stepdad, my friends, all bailed me out. You know what I mean? So there wasn't any consequences or massive repercussions to my life because, you know what I mean? Because if I wanted to go on holiday, I'd put on a crocodile tears and my mum would pay for it. Or if I wanted to go a night out, I'd phone my dad up and you know what I mean? If I wanted to go every weekend, I'd make up a bullshit story that my bank card's been lost and one of my pals would give me it, you know what I mean? So it was hard for me to put any value or money on there because even if I lost my money, I still got to do the things that everybody else was doing, but it was just that somebody else was paying for it. You know what I mean? Which is so. You see that you're talking about the money I lost. That was a sore one, you know what I mean? Because it was inheritance from my mum who died, you know what I mean? But ultimately that's got me to where I am now.
Yeah,
You know
and I think sometimes we have to see that because you've gone through that, you've gone through addiction, but ultimately you're working with Gordon Moody now and helping other people overcome theirs. And if you hadn't have been through that journey, you wouldn't be helping those people.
It's one of the things that was a kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, that one. You know what I mean? That at that point in time, when I realised it wasn't financial, that it wasn't too long after that I actually applied for Gordon Moody. So again, it's not me kind of dismissing it, and it's not me being blasé, but it's gone. You know what I mean? It's if I fixate on that, I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? Because it's not just the kind of money that I can just pull out of thin air. I mean, I've got to. It's something maybe people are looking at. How can you just write that amount of money off? But I've got to just for me to move on and get past that, I've got to go at it. That's it done. And it was probably a turning point in my life. You know what I mean? As much as it hurts for where it came from, it was. You
can't change it, can you? So there's no point in
it. Sometimes that's people think that's the easy option. You say, I can't change it. You know what I mean? But
it's also the truth.
I can't. You know what I mean? I can't go back in time and get that money back. You know what I mean? Could I be doing it now? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that I'll take accountability and responsibility for my actions and spending that. But for me to move on, I've got to kind of just go it's away.
I think that's the key with life, isn't it? You can't change it, so why dwell on it? Accept it and move on from it.
And learn from it.
Well, I go to GA and the old serenity prayer says, God grant me serenity, accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I can't change that, you know what I mean? But I can learn from it, you know what I mean?
Precisely, it's a lesson.
It's a tough one, you know what I mean, because of more so what the money was associated to, rather than the actual physical amount itself.
But you know, like in gambling rehab, because when you think of rehab, you think of detox.
Yeah.
I'm going to come off the gear.
Yeah.
I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get... So how do you detox from gambling?
It's a tough one, but you do get withdrawal symptoms, although it's not... You don't have to put something physical into your body. When I was an addict, I still am, but when I was performing as an addict, I didn't need something... Like an alcoholic maybe need a drink to function. A drug addict might need some drugs to actually kickstart their day. I didn't physically need that, but I needed something. You know what I mean? But I could still get up and kind of have my breakfast without actually physically having a bet. But it got to the point where I needed a bet very early on in the day. But when you're saying how do you detox for that, for the first 2 weeks, now ours is a 14-week program, okay, residential.
14 weeks.
14 weeks. The first 2 weeks, you do very little, just to slow your head down. You know what I mean? That's basically how we detox the guys. It's just to slow them down. You know what I mean? Because my head was going 200 miles an hour. You know what I mean? We motors going here. Who do I money to? How do I get money? Who have I got to avoid? Shit, right. he gets paid a day, I'll try and kind of nip round to him. So there's that many things going on in my head. It's like, mind the old kind of act you get the guy spinning the plates, you know what I mean? It's that many you keep trying to spin that many plates just to keep things going without your story getting found out. That we try and slow the guys down a wee bit, you know what I mean? And wee bit of reflection, you know what I mean? So that they do that for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And that's how we kind of physically get them to, would you call it a detox, probably?
So you've had that little bit of a stage. I'm interested in it. So you've got them there. You've got the, as you say. I imagine at first there's two ways. Either you're pining to get out, or you're very eager to stay in. But both of those can be short-lived, can't they?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you've either got that guy going, I don't belong here, or I want to be here. Yeah, I'll do whatever you tell me to. And we're all very enthusiastic at first, and then you're thinking, oh.
Yeah.
And I always think with voices as well, you do so well, and then you go, well, I'll reward myself. I've done so well, I'll just have one, and one turns into 10, which turns into a problem again.
I only have to look back at 30 years of carnage to let me know that it doesn't turn out well.
No.
You know what I mean? And anybody, as I say, I go to GA and I work in Gordon Moody. There's no one person that's walked into GA. There's no one person that walked into Gordon Moody say, Kev, see that gambling, it's fucking brilliant. Get a crack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't hold any illusions to me, Kev, that it's going to turn out any differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that to me that was a turning point, you know what I mean, for me. That I'd had enough. You know what I mean? I just had enough. I've got no illusions to say gambling beat me. You know what I mean? I've got no qualms of that. Absolutely none whatsoever. Because I only need to look at the pain it caused myself and the pain it caused my family over that period of time to say it's not going to be any different, because I don't know when to stop. You know what I mean? I've got that compulsive nature with gambling that it's not just going to be I maybe win a couple of quid. I'm going back to all the behaviours again, and again we get back to the behaviours. How am I going to get money? I'm going to be lying, I'm going to be cheating, I'm going to be deceiving, I'm going to be manipulating people. And that, see, but I don't want to get back to it anyway. No. It's not that I can't get back to it. I can if I want. I've got a choice. I just don't want to. The life that I've got at the moment is, it's not perfect by any way, shape or form. I don't think anybody is, but I'm building a decent life myself, Kevin. I'm more scared of losing that, and probably what's in between the 2 years, which is a wee bit of clarity that we're talking about with the guys coming in for the first 2 weeks, that their heads all over the place. That's the one thing I cherish at night when I go to bed.
You don't feel like you're ducking and diving and trying to figure out who to pay, not to pay.
Absolutely.
A bit of peace.
So
that's exactly.
So
contentment.
After that first 2 weeks, what kind of things, like if someone was there now, sitting there, so is that to try and put people's minds at ease? Because when we feel like we're going into these places, we feel like we're going to be judged, and we're going to feel like we're going to...
It's scary, isn't it?
It's scary.
I can imagine
it's very scary. You know what I mean? It is very scary, because we are, as I say, it's an emotional illness, and one thing that I done anyway, I can't speak for anybody else, but through the work I know it to be true, that we just become emotionally numb. You know what I mean? And
when you've been that person for so long, that's the only person you can remember, isn't it? And the thought of being someone different can be frightening.
Fear's a very big factor. You know what I mean? It's scary. It's a fear of the unknown. It's a fear of actually hoping that something might be better than this. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's the fear that stops people from actually doing anything about it. Because for me, myself, I was happy just to sit in my own comfortable pain rather than think that things could be different. You know what I mean? And I wasn't brave enough until I was 43 to actually think any different. But sometimes it's easier to sit in the kind of carnage that you're used to.
What you know?
No, I mean, because it's what you're used to. It becomes that comfortable pain, that thing that, although it might be shit, but it's my shit, if that makes sense. No, I mean, and I'm used to the pain, and sometimes it gets to the point where I thought, well, if people think this is what I'm like, I'm going to live up to it, you know what I mean? And that was all through my own doing, you know what I mean? It wasn't that I'm blaming other people having that perception of me. I gave them that reason to think of me like that. But again, we strip it back again, we go to the behaviours again, we break it down, you know what I mean? There's sometimes a lot of trauma in life as well, again, that people maybe look at as, again, that escapism that they just can't deal with. They find somewhere else to go again, you know what I mean? Just that safe place where that's just too hard, that's too painful to deal with. And that's tough, that one, you know what I mean? Because that's going to places that we just shut off, you know what I mean? We just block that wee key and just throw it away. We've got to try and unlock that, you know what I mean? And that's where the therapists who do an amazing job is.
And trauma's got many different faces, hasn't it? You can be, it hasn't got to be a childhood trauma, hasn't got to be a sexual trauma. Trauma can be something that has literally traumatized you, to being bullied, to seeing something, it hasn't got to be, to some people you go, bloody hell, but to you, that has changed your life.
Absolutely, but the trauma, it could be the trauma through your own addiction, but the situations that you're putting in.
Things you've said and done.
See, for me, I had a great upbringing. I cannot quit. You know what I mean? I've got a brother and a sister who are doing well. You know what I mean? I was brought up in the same household. You know what I mean? My mum, when my dad split up, very young, but my stepdad was brilliant to us. My dad was still in my life. You know what I mean? So I go through it. Some people haven't got any parents. I'd see the best parents you could ever ask for. A great brother and a great sister. So I cannot blame childhood on that. You know what I mean? So there was absolutely no trauma in my life. It was just me. I was just so self-centered and full of self that I thought I deserved everything for nothing. You know what I mean? I seen my brother and sister work through 15 and 16 and make a good life for themselves. You know what I mean? Be graft. You know what I mean? And I get jealous of that because I was lying in my bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and thinking everybody was supposed to give me the things that they've worked for. You know what I mean? So it was my total selfishness and just arrogance and cockiness and ego that I thought, I'm Kevan Mailey. I deserve everything in the world. Maximum output for minimum effort. You know what I mean? And that's where I was jealous of my brother and sister for a long time. But I didn't realise they're doing it the right way. You know what I mean? And then it got to the point I was wondering, why are they not asking me to night suit? You know what I mean? Why are they not asking me for weekends away? Because they're working damn hard to get it, and I'm expecting them to pay for mine as well. You know what I mean? So it's bonkers.
So back to the rehab, because just putting people's minds right. So you've got 14 weeks. The first 2 weeks, what kind of other things can you expect if you went there? Is it very therapy? Is it group sessions?
Yeah, it's a lot of CBT. You know what I mean? It's a lot of cognitive behavioural therapy. You do get one-to-ones with with therapists. You've got a support worker, but a lot of it's group. It's a lot of it's group work. You know what I mean? Again, it's so understand. The biggest thing is that the guys find out. See the non-judgmental environment that they work in. You know what I mean? That's massive. You know what I mean? Because some of the stories that you hear, and some of the stories that I've somebody else looked at it going, he's a lunatic. Mm-hmm. See the things that I done personally. Some people go, how could you? But they don't. When you're in the depths of addiction, the unacceptable comes acceptable. You know what I mean? Things that you never thought you would ever do growing up didn't become acceptable just because you need to feed this addiction. And that's the biggest thing that we've got in Gordon Moody is just that non-judgmental, that they feel as if they can actually talk about what's been growing. And that might not only be the gambling, but it might be trauma. You know what I mean? It might be just relationship issues. It's things that they run away from. You know what I mean? There's a lot of peer. You know what I mean? The peer environment. You know what I mean? The guys spend more time with each other than they do with staff, so they're probably their biggest help. You know what I mean? I'll speak for myself. I learned more, and that's not me taking away from the work that I got for the therapist and that I got the Moody myself, but I grew more after 5 o'clock when the staff went home, because that was me when you're building up relationships with other people, you're starting to trust each other again. You know what I mean, you're opening up to people who understand you. You know what I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, that they realise that they're not alone. You know what I mean? They realise that people's heads work like me. You know what I mean? You're living in a head yourself going, I don't know what's going on here. And then all of a sudden you get into an environment where people actually get you. You know what I mean?
And no doubt there's people in there further along their 14 weeks, so they can.
It's a rolling program.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It started somewhere, obviously, so somebody's at week 1, somebody's at week 2, somebody's at week 3, somebody's at week 4, somebody's at week 5, and then through to 14. So when 14 drops out, we get a new one in.
Yeah.
So there's always that peer element, that
a bit more experience
yeah,
as in the weeks as you get.
And sometimes the guys walk in just a wee bit of hope, and then all of a sudden they see somebody graduating and their families come down and they go, I want a bit of that. You know what I mean? So that's what that's why the kind of 14-week program works, that you've always got somebody a wee bit further ahead of you to maybe not aspire to, but grab onto a wee bit and ask
also guide you.
You know what I mean? And if you are struggling, then the further on you get, you do get your confidence back, you do get your self-worth back, you do get your kind of your dignity back as well. You know what I mean? And that the guys behind that grab onto that. You know what I mean? We do a lot of it's a lot of CBT. As obviously there's a therapy side of it as well, but I'm a firm believer it's a talking illness. You know what I mean? The more we talk about it, you know what I mean, we do kind of a lot about behaviours. You know what I mean? We talk about the lying, the manipulation, the justification, rationalisation, honesty. So that's a lot of things we do. We do back end of it, we do a relapse prevention group. You know what I mean? So you do 6 weeks of the honesty group, the behaviours, and you do 6 weeks of the relapse prevention, which that's the coping mechanisms that we were talking about earlier on. You know what I mean? That you can fall back on if you get into situations that you previously did. You know what I mean? I just remember how this was, and that do a lot around finances as well. You know what I mean? Because again, my relationship with money was non-existent. You know what I mean? It was just tokens at that point in time, just to gamble. You know what I mean? Didn't have any value for it. We do a lot around about debts as well. You know what I mean? And at that point in time, it's looking forward. It's like, right, where do you want to be? You know what I mean? Access courses for college and university, retraining, help with things like that. We've got the recovery house for people who maybe need a wee bit more support. We've got a great relationship with Dudley Council, with people who want to relocate. You know what I mean? So getting them their own space, getting their own flat, moving on. You know what I mean? So although the rehab is the 14 weeks, the pre-support, the guys we help them before they come in. You know what I mean? They've got one-to-one sessions. We support them before they come in, because obviously there's a waiting list, and after that we've got aftercare, which is amazing. You know what I mean? So we look at it as a holistic thing. Although the rehab is the kind of centre point of the treatment, before and after is just as big as well. We've got a family group as well. We've got a family and friend group that we do, which is massive as well, to give the families a bit of support. I mean, because we've got the guys in our place for 14 weeks, learning about themselves, learning about their addictions and how to change. But their families are outside looking after the kids, still paying the bills and holding things together. So they need a lot of support as well. So we understand that it's not just the person who we're treating. We've got to make sure that the families are taken along for the ride as well. We collaborate with a lot of people as well. Wise Up, a couple of guys who are not too far away, Mark and Liam. We do with Epic Restart Foundation as well, and they do a kind of lot of mentoring with our guys after us as well. So it's just kind of making sure that just after the 14 weeks, it's not just a case on you go. You know what I mean? I believe that you'll get the best 14 weeks of treatment. I firmly believe that, but it's no use us just doing that and then just kind of throwing
back
on you
out
go
there.
yourself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's just as important, if not just more important. To
I
make
think it's
sure that-
great dealing with the debt side, 'cause no doubt some people go in there with a lot of debt on their hands, and to have the thought of, well, because this debt, you're going to probably have to go and work hard to pay off,
Yeah.
aren't you? And it's probably easy at the end to go, well, actually, if I just won that one bet, I'll pay all that off.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so to be able to stop and manage that and find coping ways of dealing with that and help.
As I
It's
said,
really good.
it's not a financial illness, but it has a massive financial
Impact.
You know what I mean? Because one, you've probably got debts, you know what I mean? Two, you know, credit score these days, you know what I mean, probably short, and you need a credit score for a mobile phone, for internet, you know what I mean, for a job now.
Mm.
A lot of people look at their credit score. So although it's not a financial illness, it has massive financial implications. As you say, if you've not got your debts under control, there's always that, I can get myself for one more bet if I can clear this debt, you know what I mean? And as just that compulsion just takes over and you're back to square one again. So getting your finances is massive in place, you know what I mean? Because if your money's taken care of, then you can concentrate on the emotional side of it. So we try and make sure that the finances and the debt, we do a lot of work with step change and things like that as well, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's a holistic approach we look at it, you know what I mean? It's every part of their life that we look at, you know what I mean? Your job, your career, your family, your finances.
And how did you find yourself? How did you come to working for them?
I'd always kept in touch with them, you know what I mean, when I left, because I went home in December 2018, and I'd always kind of kept in touch with them. I went to kind of conferences and I spoke on their behalf, and got to the point where I was on the experts by experience, I don't know, kind of group with the Gambling Commission, and that was, there's about 12 or 13 of us in the Gambling Commission were just kind of asking us for, I don't know whether it was a tick box exercise, I don't know if I can say that, but it felt like it at times, you know what I mean, that they were asking advice on certain subjects and certain topics, and I met a lot of people through that. Local guy called Tony Kelly used to play with Cov, football player. Tony's got a charity called Tony's got a local charity called Red Flag, and I done a bit of kind of facilitating groups with Tony. Might be a good guy to go on. He got a great story. Tony,
Brilliant, if you could.
ex-footballer, and as I said, always kept in contact with Gordon Moody through certain things. Went down to do Q&As for the guys that's in the house, you know what I mean, about how my journey went and where I am at the moment. And a job came up, and just so happens that I applied for it. I didn't get a job I went for, but I got another job, and that was down back in, which was crazy. My life just turned down a complete 360 degrees, because when I was down in Gordon Moody, that was the first year meeting I went to in a place called Orpington. And I was back working in the same place that I went to for treatment myself, it was mad to get my head around, you know what I mean? My therapist was then my colleague.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The GA meeting I went to was the first GA meeting I went to 5 years ago, you know what I mean? So it was bad how my life just turned around, and unfortunately Beckenham closed down, and obviously they had a position at Dudley, so that's me here.
And have you found it?
It's different, you know what I mean? But as I say, I'm brought up on the west coast of Scotland and staying in London. Well, probably about this time last year, I went to Manchester. We've got a rehab in Manchester, and I went to Manchester for 5 or 6 weeks to help open that up. Then I went back to Scotland for a week. So that was me away from London for about 5 or 6 weeks, and unconsciously you can get caught up in all the BS that goes with London. You know what I mean? It's very kind of money orientated. You know what I mean? It's what you wear, where you drink, what kind of car you drive, and how big your house is. I'm renting a room. You know what I mean? But you can get caught up in that a wee bit, and I felt as if until I went to Manchester, who kind of similar people myself brought up with, you know what I mean? And then back to Scotland, that it grounded me an awful lot, and I kind of get the same feel, that it's the same kind of thread to the people that in Dudley, that I've got from Port Glasgow, you know what I mean? Just honest, hard-working people, you know what I mean? That, obviously, it rains a wee bit more, but I'm used to that in Scotland. But I found that the people are great, you know what I mean? London can get lonely. You walk down the street and you say hello to somebody and somebody just walks straight past you. At least you're up here, you get an answer. Sometimes I don't understand it because of the accent, but I'll take
I'm surprised we got through this podcast again. What'd you say? You
I
what?
know people are going like art lost in translation.
We've got subtitles though, right?
Someone will be confused on it though.
For both. The weird thing is we have listeners around the world. Some places we've got some really random places, haven't we?
Israel,
Ukraine and Israel, and you're going, hey, do they understand us too?
Yeah. No chance for me then.
But isn't it wonderful how life can take you places that you never knew
Yeah, exactly.
were possible?
And did you envision that 5-6 years ago?
As I say, I didn't envision much, mate. There wasn't many choices, you know what I mean? 4, homelessness. Didn't fancy that much. I've slept rough a couple of times, but I always somewhere to go back to. Jail. I'm not built for jail, mate, you know what I mean? Or a box. You know what I mean? 6 foot under, and I didn't fancy 3 of them, you know what I mean? And as I say, just so happened that, funny story as well, when I was searching for residential gambling rehabs in the UK, because all the cookies on my laptop or my tablet at that point in time, it was all gambling orientated. The first hit was William Hill. So because that's the first thing that the gambling associated with, and I'm going, what's this? Is this a sign that just gave up? And the second one was Gordon Moody. Little did I know that man, and I didn't have a clue who he was, but little did I know what a role I was going to play in my life. You know what I mean? Because just so happened he brought Gamblers Anonymous to the UK as well. You know what I mean? He went over to America and brought that back. So he actually brought GA back to the UK as well, which is Gordon Moody and GA, the 2 cornerstones in my recovery. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you why Gordon Moody? Do you know why it was named? Do you know why it was named Gordon Moody?
I don't know. It was Reverend Gordon Moody, MBE. You know what I mean? He's done a lot. He's done a lot of work with. You know what I mean? I think it was homelessness. I think he done first, and then it was gambling. That's what obviously set up Gordon Moody down in Beckenham. That was our 50th year last year. So we've been doing it for 50 years. So a visionary, we could call him, probably. You know what I mean? And I said, he's played a massive part in my life. That it was a place where it gave me opportunity to find out who I was. You know what I mean? Because I didn't. People go to rehab, and this is maybe where the kind of detox side of it comes in. I didn't find it as if it was your stereotypical rehab. You know what I mean? Because you see it on TV and things like that people are getting shakes or they're going cold turkey or they've got to get medication. Again, because you don't have that physical attachment to it, you don't need anything in your body. That I just found out the way I looked at it was I found out about how Kevin ticks rehab. You know what I mean? It was like kind of a lifestyle rehab for me. You know what I mean? And I still find it strange that, and I'm not going. I know other people struggle with the gambling still, and I understand that, but I still find it strange that I went into Gordon Moody on the 23rd of July 2018. 20th of July, absolute lunatic with gambling, couldn't stop thinking about it. 21st, same. 22nd, same. 23rd, it's not been a massive issue at all. Because I found out very, very early on by a very bright woman who was my therapist and turned into my colleague. Gambling wasn't my problem, gambling was my solution. That was the problem. Based on my story, you know what I mean? That self in me, you know what I mean? That I thought I had a God-given right to get everything without any effort. And that kind of pickled my head a wee bit, you know what I mean? Because then I went here and says, like, so if I do things the right way, then I don't need to go back gambling. So I'm not saying you'll not go back gambling, but you give yourself a great opportunity. If you grow up and take accountability and responsibility for who you are and deal with the stuff that you've ran away from for the last 30 years. And up until now, things have went okay. It's not been perfect. You know what I mean? There's still got struggles, but my hardest day in recovery is a million times better than my best day in addiction. I'll tell you that. A million times better. You know what I mean?
But I always say, we'll finish with a quote, but that's a lovely one.
It is, well, I was going to actually ask as well how they can get in touch with Gordon Moody. Do you
Gordon
got the
Moody
number?
website, gordonmoody.org.uk. I've also got, it's again, we're part of the National Gambling Helpline. I'll maybe can get you to put the numbers that up.
I can do that, not a problem at all. We've had the website scrolling across the bottom of the screen as we're going on.
The National Gambling Helpline, you can contact them, GamCare as well. We can get that number put on.
Yeah.
It's becoming more prominent. It's becoming more. People are becoming more aware of how dangerous it is. You know what I mean? You still need a lot of more work done on it. You know what I mean? Because again, I think we need to educate people an awful lot more. Yeah. We're at the back end of it. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've got the people who have obviously got to the point where they need intervention and they need help. And I think with any addiction, there's always going to be that. I mean, but we need to educate people a lot more on the potential harms of gambling, because it's seen as a social, and again, I've got people in other fellowships who have got other problems with other addictions, and I'm not going to turn around and say I want all a pub shut. You know what I mean? And it's not a case of closing every bookies and don't let people bet, because 99.9% of the people can gamble safely. But we've got to make the people aware that there's massive dangers to this. You know what I mean? And that's where education comes in. You know what I mean? We've got to educate people and got to make them aware of the potential harm of this.
So, have you got any quotes and sayings that have helped you get through life?
Sorry?
Have you got any quotes or sayings that have helped you get through life?
One I learned in Gordon Moody, that it was Winston Churchill that said that those who forget the past are condemned to repeat it. So if I don't remember the things that I'd done in the past, I've got a free rein to do them again. You know what I mean? So if I forget how I hurt myself, how I hurt my family, you know what I mean, and the pain I was in before I went to Gordon Moody, if I forget that, then I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? Because that just gives me a free rein to do things again.
Well, brother, thank you ever so much for coming on and sharing your story.
No worries, mate. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for letting me share my story. And to say, we're in Dudley, we're a local charity, you know what I mean? And the reason I come on here is maybe to make myself a wee bit more aware and maybe connect with other charities, and we can maybe get a wee bit of relationship going on, because we do encourage the guys who are in me to do a wee bit of charity work, and it's good for their self-confidence, it's good for their social skills, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, when we come in, have isolated themselves for a lot of time, you know what I mean? And just to bring themselves out again. So if you feel as if you can maybe do a wee bit of collaboration, again, the website and so on, we'll get a website up and see where we can go.
Definitely. Well, guys, thank you all for listening. So until we see each other next time, I want you all to take care of yourselves and each other. Ta-ra a bit.
Listen.
And that's a wrap for another show. But if there are any comments or messages that you would like us to read out for our next podcast, please be in touch. There are also lots of different organisations at the bottom of this page, and hopefully they can help you or someone you care about. Please share this to spread the word. Until we talk next time, ta-ra a bit.